Terry and Linda Jameson, aka the Psychic Twins, are the self-proclaimed most documented psychics in history, with a track record of 1,500 accurate world predictions on tape. One of the most popular predictions is the 9/11 terrorist attack and Pentagon attacks in 2001, which was made on the radio show Art Bell's Coast to Coast AM. They have mentioned it nearly every time they promote themselves, and the fans are quick to use it as proof that they're legit psychics. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm getting the message that it's the most credible and impressive prediction.
We're the only people in the world that predicted 9/11 in detail on tape. We have proof on tape, and no other person that claims to have predicted it has that proof. And so it's kind of become a legendary prediction. It's been vetted by many TV channels.
Except, is it really that impressive of a prediction? And did they actually predict what they claimed they predicted? First of all, what constitutes a good psychic prediction? I think it would have to be accurate. This is pretty self-explanatory. It also has to be precise and detailed. If someone made the prediction there will be terrorist attacks in the next 5 years in Europe and claimed to be a psychic, you won't buy it. However, if they say there will be a suicide bomb attack in December 2017 in Berlin by ISIS, that would be a lot more detailed and precise. Finally, the prediction can't be made without psychic abilities. For example, if the last prediction was made after ISIS say, we will attack Berlin in December 2017 with a suicide bomber, it wouldn't be considered a prediction at all. This also goes for situations where the result can be easily guessed. So I was trying to find out if the 9/11 prediction fits these criteria. I went on the website and found a whopping 2 pages full of predictions, but I couldn't quite find any proofs of them predicting 9/11, let alone the other 1,499 predictions. Actually, did anyone actually listen to the recording of the 1999 radio show? I couldn't find it as the Psychic Twins never put them on their official website. Being the most well-known prediction, you would expect them to actually show proof instead of just claiming it. It was hard to find a tape that old, but I somehow managed. After listening to it, I realized the Psychic Twins' so-called 9/11 prediction is so dodgy, I doubt anyone would actually consider them to have accurately predicted the attack. But most criticism against the Psychic Twins online are about their own experience with the Psychic Twins in regards to predictions of their personal lives. Or the recent 2016 US presidential election, which was a major fail, by the way, considering they had 50% chance of just guessing it right. For the record. No, they didn't technically get it right because Hillary Clinton won the popular vote, as they didn't predict Hillary Clinton would win the election, but will be elected president.
We see Hillary predominating in the elections. We think Hillary Clinton will be elected president.
Well, guys.
To the people who say they got one wrong and everyone turned on them, what about all the time they were right? I hope you guys are consistent with your logic. Let's say if they got one prediction right but the rest all wrong. Or if they got none right, would you still believe in them? I would like you to hold that thought right there as we progress to my next point. So this is the Art Bell radio show on the 2nd of November, 1999. The Psychic Twins were invited to the show as guests, and a listener called to ask a question about national disasters. Let's listen to it while I take some notes. Oh, also, as I believe in context, I will play the whole response, which is quite long.
The upcoming disasters that you've chronicled.
Okay, just briefly, are you talking about natural disasters?
Well, natural and unnatural.
And unnatural. Okay. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of natural disasters in terms of earthquakes and hurricanes, blizzards and earthquakes coming up, especially within the next 10 to 12 years. A lot of activity like that because of global warming. We are seeing various terrorist attacks on federal government. Federal buildings.
Yeah, particularly South Carolina or Georgia.
Really?
By July 2002, and also the New York Trade Center, the World Trade Center in 2002.
Really?
With a terrorist attack, and yeah, so that's
we're seeing school shootings. December 99 in Washington, Detroit in May 2001, Texas in about 6 months, where 6 will die.
Yeah.
Also Houston, there were school shootings in Houston, Tennessee, Alabama in 2002, Alabama, Boston and Omaha. We're also seeing Nebraska in 7 years, sorry.
So you're seeing a lot of that, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
A tremendous amount of activity with the school shootings, school violence.
There's an assassination attempt in 2004 or 6, and again 2017 or 18. A very high likelihood of endangerment to the president, but I don't feel it'll be successful.
Okay, so there was a lot to take in. They made 14 predictions within 90 seconds. If they're not the most credible psychics, they are at least the most efficient psychics. Now, let's cross out events that just never happened. There we go. Technically, There hadn't been any school shootings in Boston since they made the prediction. So I should cross it out, but just like all predictions that don't have a date, it may happen in the future, so I'll leave it. There will be more natural disasters because of global warming is something that has been warned by scientists repeatedly, so you should know that even without psychic abilities. Let's highlight those that were not crossed off. Seems like the ones left either didn't have a date specified or are still in the future. I will leave it up to you to decide what this means. But why did you cross out terrorist attack on World Trade Center in 2002? Isn't that the 9/11 prediction, you may ask? The answer is yes, that was what they considered 9/11's prediction. And I'm now going to explain why I wouldn't consider that a good psychic prediction. The psychic twins predicted two details about 9/11. When it happened. 2002. Where it happened. World Trade Center. The first one was obviously wrong. 9/11 happened in 2001, not 2002. But hey, at least they got the location right, or did they? Actually, predicting a terrorist attack on the World Trade Center is not impressive at all. The World Trade Center was thought to be under threat since 1993 when it was targeted with a bomb in its parking lot that killed 6 people. This was public knowledge and everyone knew the World Trade Center was under threat. On top of prior experience of terrorism, the tower is a soft, non-military target with high symbolic values with a large number of civilians, which makes it an obvious target for terrorism. Predicting only 2 details of the event, while one being incorrect and the other being an obvious guess, isn't really helping. But here are some things they could have predicted to make it more credible. Who were the terrorists? Bin Laden. How was it done? Aircraft attacks. What were the consequences? 2,996 deaths and more than 6,000 non-fatal injuries. Or maybe they did predict all of these details.
We were both sitting in different rooms, channeling on various things about the future, the new millennium. And we both realized when we compared our notes an hour or so later that we had printed World Trade Center attacks 2001, 5,000 perish, Bin Laden, American, and it was all there, and we were pretty shocked. Not one person predicted this other than us.
There was a clip from the 2006 Dr. Keith show where they claimed that they predicted all of these. I mean, how can you not believe in them? The proof is written on a piece of paper. But you, who just listened to the clip from the radio, may have noticed something wrong. Wait a minute, remember in the beginning of the video where I showed you that they claimed to have predicted the Pentagon attacks? What's with that? Did we miss something from the recording?
America was listening to you when you made a prediction about the devastation of September 11th. So take me back to the day you made that prediction. How did it come about? What were you feeling or thinking, and why did you decide that you'd share it?
Well, it was an amazing day. It was an international radio show, millions of listeners. That day we tuned in and we predicted, we sat writing next to each other. We wrote everything in detail that would transpire with the 9/11
Bin Laden,
Events.
World Trade Center
In
attacks, terrorist attacks.
Okay, and we actually have the tape from that show, so we're going to listen to that right now.
Okay.
We are seeing various terrorist attacks on federal government, and also the New York Trade Center, the World Trade Center.
Comparing what was played on television and what you heard yourself, you may find a few minor differences between the two versions. They edited the part where they predicted that there would be attacks on federal buildings in South Carolina and Georgia in July 2002, and manipulated it to prove that they predicted the Pentagon attacks. Then they conveniently edited the part where they got the date of 9/11 wrong. Again, minor differences in unnecessary details. But that's not all. Let's see what they said on other news outlets.
Terry and Linda are known for their incredible predictions of world events. They forecast the BP oil spill in the media before it happened. So too, this year's Japanese earthquake. And the most prophetic of all, the September 11 terrorist attacks.
We are seeing various terrorist attacks on federal government.
The twins made the prediction on radio 2 years before it happened.
And also the New York Trade Center, the World Trade Center.
We have talked about some of your past predictions, but by far the most famous one was 9/11. Now we're going to take a look at some of your the writings and some of your thoughts. These were thoughts that you said came to you 2 years before the event. So I got to ask you, when 9/11 actually happened,
Yes.
what did you think? Had you tried to warn anybody before it happened?
Yes, in fact, we predicted it on international radio in November 2nd, 1999.
To millions of people.
Millions, maybe 20 million people heard that prediction in detail. And it's through our automatic writing, we got all that specific information about exactly what transpired. We were horrified.
I'll leave it up to you to think what kind of person they are. That they would manipulate evidence to prove the supposedly most credible prediction on national TV and blatantly lie about predicting the event in details. So here is a conclusion for my video. 1. The psychic twins didn't predict 9/11. 2. The psychic twins got almost every prediction wrong in the 90 seconds in which they supposedly predicted 9/11. 3. The psychic twins provided cleverly edited tapes to news outlets as proofs. 4. The psychic twins lied about predicting 9/11 in detail. Now, just before I go, let's have a look at what the psychic twins say about skeptics or people who criticize them.
It's called psychic abuse or psychic terror. We call it psychic terrorism. They're terrorists. They use their words as bombs, but it is every bit as destructive. And there's so much misunderstanding. It's a sad thing, but we keep saying, please read our books, look at our shows, listen to our radio shows. You'll hear.
So being skeptical about them or criticizing them online is as destructive as trying to kill as many people as possible with a bomb. Also, buy our stuff. Got it? Thank you for watching my first ever video. If you liked it, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends.